On March 1, 1999, at approximately 21:05 Greenwich Mean Time, they all heard Julia. The sound registered simultaneously across the entire equatorial Pacific array. This alone tells us something crucial. Whatever produced Julia was extraordinarily powerful. For a sound to be detected across such distances, it requires immense energy. We're talking about acoustic power equivalent to massive geological events or enormous biological sources. The recording itself is deeply unsettling. When you listen to the original, which NOAA sped up by a factor of 16 to make it audible to human ears, it does sound remarkably voice-like. There's a rising and falling quality, an almost musical pitch variation that our brains interpret as intentional vocalization. It's not random noise. It has structure, pattern, rhythm. The duration was approximately 2 minutes and 43 seconds of continuous sound. In ocean acoustics, this is significant. Brief sounds might be dismissed as equipment glitches or passing noise. But nearly 3 minutes of sustained acoustic energy rules out most transient explanations. NOAA's triangulation efforts narrowed the source location to somewhere between the Bransfield Strait and Cape Adare, both locations off the coast of Antarctica. This geographic constraint is important but frustratingly imprecise. The distance between these 2 points spans hundreds of kilometers of some of Earth's most remote and inhospitable waters. What ocean mystery fascinates you most? Share your thoughts in the comments below and I'll research it for a future video. Your curiosity shapes what we explore on Ancient Underwater Mysteries. The immediate question became, what could produce such a sound? The theories broke down into 3 categories: biological, geological, and mechanical. The biological theory captured public imagination immediately. Could this be an unknown marine creature? The ocean is vast and largely unexplored. We discover new species regularly. Perhaps Julia was the vocalization of something massive living in Antarctic waters, something that has evaded detection for centuries. The problems with this theory are significant. First, the power required exceeds any known biological sound production. Blue whales produce the loudest biological sounds on Earth, and their calls, while impressive, don't match Julia's acoustic signature or transmission range. Second, no known animal produces sounds resembling Julia's frequency pattern and structure. Third, if this were a biological source, we'd expect repeat occurrences. Julia was recorded once. No confirmed repeat detection has ever occurred. Some enthusiasts point to the bloop, another mysterious sound recorded by the same system in 1997, as evidence of unknown marine megafauna. However, NOAA definitively identified the bloop as ice-related seismic activity. Icebergs carving or scraping along the seafloor produce remarkably complex acoustic signatures that can resemble biological sounds to human ears. The mechanical theory suggested human activity, submarines, underwater explosions, military testing. This can be quickly dismissed. The geographic isolation of the source region, the lack of any military operations in that area at that time, and the sound's characteristics all argue against artificial origins. Additionally, NOAA's acoustic analysts are intimately familiar with man-made underwater sounds. They would recognize human equipment. This leaves geological explanations. NOAA's official position, stated on their website, is that Julia most likely originated from a large iceberg running aground off Antarctica. The timing coincides with seasonal ice movements in the Southern Ocean. The location matches regions where massive tabular icebergs from Antarctic ice shelves commonly drift and eventually ground on shallow seafloor features. When icebergs ground, they produce complex acoustic signatures. The ice fractures, cracks, and grinds against rock. Water trapped beneath the ice is displaced violently. The entire event can last minutes and produce sounds that transmit extraordinary distances through the SOFAR channel. Please hit that like button, subscribe to Ancient Underwater Mysteries, and turn on notifications. Your subscription means everything to me as this channel continues growing, and your support helps me bring these incredible mysteries to light. But here's what keeps the mystery alive. No iceberg grounding was visually confirmed in that region at that time. Antarctic waters in March are extremely difficult to monitor. Satellite coverage is incomplete. Weather conditions often prevent observation. An iceberg could ground, produce Julia, and float away without anyone directly observing the event. The sound's resemblance to a human voice is likely pareidolia, our brain's tendency to find familiar patterns in random stimuli. We hear faces in clouds, animals in rock formations, and voices in natural sounds. The acoustic structure of grinding ice, filtered through hundreds of kilometers of ocean, and the unusual properties of the SOFAR channel, produced something our brains interpreted as voice-like. Yet doubt persists. Some researchers note that other documented iceberg sounds from the same monitoring system don't sound quite like Julia. The slowdown, recorded in 1997, was conclusively identified as ice-related but has distinctly different acoustic characteristics. Could Julia represent a different type of ice event we've rarely observed? Conspiracy theories inevitably emerged. Claims circulated online about NASA photographs from a non-existent Apollo 33A5 mission supposedly showing massive shadows in the water at Julia's location. These claims are fabrications. No such NASA mission exists, and NASA and NOAA data is largely unclassified and publicly available. What makes this case particularly fascinating is how well documented it is. Unlike cryptozoological claims based on blurry photos or unreliable witnesses, Julia was recorded by scientific instruments designed specifically for acoustic monitoring. The data is real, repeatable, and available for anyone to analyze. NOAA hasn't classified or hidden anything. The recording is freely available on their website. The mystery isn't whether Julia was recorded. It definitely was. The mystery is whether NOAA's iceberg explanation is correct, or whether some other natural phenomenon we haven't fully characterized produced this sound. Modern ocean acoustic monitoring continues to record similar sounds. NOAA estimates they detect tens of thousands of ice-generated acoustic events annually, especially around Antarctica. Most sound nothing like Julia. Some sound remarkably similar to the bloop, slowdown, and other named sounds in NOAA's catalog. Each one teaches us more about how ice interacts with the ocean floor, how sound propagates through deep water, and what acoustic signatures different geological events produce. Climate change has increased the frequency of these events. As Antarctic ice shelves destabilize, massive icebergs calve more frequently. These icebergs drift, ground, fracture, and produce sounds that reverberate across ocean basins. In a warming world, Julia-like sounds may become more common, not less. What aspect of the Julia mystery intrigues you most? The voice-like quality, the enormous transmission distance, or perhaps the lack of visual confirmation? Comment below and share your perspective on what really produced this sound in the Antarctic waters. The scientific community has largely accepted the iceberg grounding explanation while acknowledging that absolute certainty remains elusive. This is how science actually works, not in absolute pronouncements, but in probable explanations supported by available evidence while remaining open to new data. Julia stands as a reminder of how little we truly know about our ocean's acoustic environment. Despite having sophisticated monitoring systems, despite decades of oceanographic research, despite our modern technology, a sound recorded 25 years ago still generates debate and discussion. The ocean produces thousands of sounds we've never catalogued. Every day, hydrophones record acoustic signatures that don't match known sources. Most are probably ice-related, volcanic, or seismic. Some might be biological sounds from species we haven't identified. A few might represent entirely new types of oceanic phenomena we haven't yet characterized. Julia reminds us that mystery doesn't require supernatural explanations to be compelling. The sound of a massive iceberg grinding against Antarctic seafloor, transmitting across thousands of kilometers of deep ocean, heard simultaneously by listening stations spread across an entire ocean basin. That's extraordinary enough without invoking unknown creatures. Yet the human-like quality keeps us wondering. In those 3 minutes of recording, our brains hear patterns that feel intentional, structured, almost communicative. It's a powerful reminder that we evolved to find meaning in patterns, even when those patterns arise from purely physical processes. The Julia sound mystery isn't solved in the sense of absolute certainty, but it's understood in the sense that we have a plausible, scientifically supported explanation that fits all available evidence. Whether that explanation satisfies our sense of wonder is another question entirely. As ocean monitoring continues and technology improves, perhaps future Julia-like sounds will be correlated with direct visual observation of their sources. Perhaps we'll develop better acoustic models that can definitively match ice events to their sonic signatures. Or perhaps Julia will remain what it is today, a fascinating acoustic mystery that reminds us our oceans still hold surprises. In the end, Julia teaches us that the most compelling mysteries aren't always the ones that remain completely unexplained. Sometimes they're the ones where the explanation itself reveals how extraordinary our natural world truly is.